Judge, Delhi High Court, all the honorable judges of Delhi High Court, respected former judges of this court, Mr. Chetan Sharma, learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Rahul Mehra, learned Standing Counsel Criminal, Government of NCT of Delhi, Mr. Himal Akhtar, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Mr. Abhijat, Secretary, and other respected executive members of Delhi High Court Bar Association, esteemed senior advocates, distinguished invitees from District Judiciary, learned office bearers of all the Bar Association and Bar Council of Delhi, senior bureaucrats, family members and friends of Honorable Mr. Justice BRIJESH Sethi, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good afternoon to all of you. We have today assembled to bid farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice BRIJESH Sethi, who is demitting office on 30th of November after illustrious judicial journey. May I now humbly request Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli to commence the reference proceedings with her opening address.
Justice BRIJESH Sethi, my esteemed colleagues, Shri Chetan Sharma, Additional Solicitor General of India, the Vice Chairman Bar Council of Delhi, Shri Mohit Mathur, Shri Jatan Singh, Shri Abhijat, President, Vice President and Secretary of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Shri Rahul Mehra, Standing Counsel Criminal, Government of NCT of Delhi, Shri Ramesh Singh, Standing Counsel Civil, Government of NCT of Delhi, Standing Counsels of the Central and the State Government, Executive Members of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Office Bearers of the Bar Council of Delhi and the District Bar Associations, Senior Advocates, Members of the Bar, family members of Justice BRIJESH Sethi, members of the print and the electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. We have virtually assembled here yet again to bid a farewell to our esteemed colleague Justice BRIJESH Sethi, who is demitting office today on superannuating after a distinguishing and fulfilling career. In the absence of Honorable the Chief Justice, Justice Patel, who is presently indisposed, I have the privilege to lead the full court reference on his behalf. Justice Sethi was born on 1st December 1958 in Delhi. He completed his schooling from St. Xavier's High School, Kanpur, and did his graduation from Christ Church College, Kanpur. He got a degree in law from the University of Delhi in 1982 and had enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council of Delhi in the same year. He practiced in the Delhi High Court and the district courts in different jurisdictions before joining the prestigious Delhi Judicial Service. Justice Sethi commenced his judicial career on 4th of November 1986 and presided over courts of the Civil Judge, the Metropolitan Magistrate, Labour Court, and MACT. He was promoted to the Delhi Higher Judicial Service on 16th of August 2000 and served in various capacities, including as Presiding Officer, Labour Court, Judge in Charge, Mediation Center, 30,000 Courts, Special Judge, CBI. He also served as a Principal Judge, West Family Courts, 30,000. Justice Sethi was appointed as a Member Secretary, Delhi Legal Services Authority on 1st of November 2012, and he served as Registrar Arbitration, Delhi International Arbitration Center. He was appointed as a District and Session Judge, South Saket on 22nd January 2015, and he was also appointed as a Principal Secretary, Department of Law, Justice and Legislative Affairs, GNCTD, on 24th of September 2015. On joining back, he served as a Principal Judge, Headquarters, Family Court, Dwarka. Before his elevation to this court, he had served as a District and Session Judge, Southwest District, Dwarka Courts. As a District and Session Judge, Justice Sethi introduced many administrative reforms to augment the administrative capacity and the strength of the district courts. Justice Sethi was elevated as a permanent judge of this court on 27th of May 2019, and he came to this court with a wide judicial and administrative experience. On the administrative side, Justice Sethi served as a member of various committees, including the committee to consider the recommendations made by the core group regarding setting up of additional district court complexes, State Court Management System Committee, Building Maintenance Committee of Dwarka Court Complex, Committee on Evening Courts, Shift Systems in Subordinate Courts, and to advise on directions of Honorable the Supreme Court concerning administration of justice, as also the Environment Committee. He served as a member of the committee to consider and furnish a view to the government regarding a research project on a comparative analysis of performance appraisal mechanism and schemes for promotion in relation to judges of the subordinate judiciary in different states in India, and a committee to give views of this court on the 80th report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee. Throughout his distinguished career, Justice Sethi has delivered numerous judgments on various jurisdictions, which have immensely contributed towards the growth of procedural and substantive law. In the case of Ritika versus State, the petitioner had sought grant of anticipatory bail under Section 438, read with Section 482 CRPC, for the offence of abetment to suicide of a school-going child. While declining to grant anticipatory bail, Justice Sethi had observed that it is very difficult to ignore the suicide note where the deceased child had named the petitioner, and prima facie there were serious and direct allegations of abetment to suicide against the petitioner. He referred to Article 19 of the UN Convention on the Rights of Child, 1989, UNCRC, to which India is a signatory and which declares that any form of discipline involving violence is unacceptable, and observed that governments should ensure that children are properly cared for and protected from violence, abuse, and neglect by their parents or anyone who looks after them. He further observed that Article 28(2) of the same convention requires the state parties to take all appropriate measures to ensure that school discipline is administered in a manner consistent with the child's human dignity and in conformity with the convention. In Nalini Sharma versus Honorable the Lieutenant Governor GNCTD, the court dealt with the quashing of an FIR under Section 420, 468, 471, 120B IPC and the charge sheet filed thereunder against the petitioner. Justice Sethi held that it was prima facie clear that the offence committed by the petitioner were offences against the society at large, and therefore she could not be exonerated from the criminal liability on the ground that she had paid the amount of unearned increase later on. He observed that the offences alleged against the accused were serious in nature and committed with a deliberate design and planning with a view to earn personal gain, regardless of wrongful loss to the public exchequer, which concerns the public at large. He further opined that the FIR cannot be quashed on the ground that the petitioner had cheated the DDA and had caused loss to the public exchequer by not paying the unearned increase deliberately, and that the offences which affect the economy of the nation and are against the society cannot be quashed. In Mahua Moitra versus State, the court was hearing a petition under Article 226 of the Constitution of India, read with Section 482 of the CRPC, praying inter alia for setting aside of an ex parte order passed by the learned additional session judge in a criminal revision application filed against the main complaint case pending before the learned MM for allegations under Section 499 and 500 IPC. Justice Sethi observed that the law on the aspect of intervention by the prospective accused at the pre-summoning stage in a complaint case before the learned MM is impermissible. He further held that only an interlocutory order was passed by the learned MM, and he had not finally decided the application filed by the prospective accused under 340 CRPC. While setting aside the order of the learned additional session judge, Justice Sethi observed that by moving a revision application, the prospective accused could not stall the proceedings in the main complaint case, and therefore no revision would lie against the order of the learned MM. In Nitin Jowhari versus Serious Fraud Investigation Office, the court dealt with a bail application filed under Section 439 of the CRPC, read with Section 2126 of the Companies Act. Justice Sethi held that the twin condition for grant of bail, as envisaged under Section 2126 Roman 2, were not satisfied, and it cannot be held that there was no reasonable ground to believe that the accused was not guilty of the offences alleged against him, and that he is not likely to commit any offence under the Act while on bail. He further observed that even if the bail application is not tested on the touchstone of the twin conditions as enumerated under Section 21262 of the Companies Act, the petitioner would not be entitled to bail even under Section 439 CRPC for the reason that the offence committed by him is an economic offence which affects the economy of the nation. In a recent decision in the case of Rajiv Agarwal versus Union of India, the petitioner had challenged the legality of the appeal filed by the CBI against the learned trial court's 2G verdict on the ground of lack of requisite sanction from the central government under Section 378(2) of the CRPC for maintaining an appeal against acquittal. Justice Sethi observed that the 2018 amendment to the Prevention of Corruption Act, where Section 13(1)(d) would not come to the rescue of the accused, since the amended Act does not apply to offences that have already taken place. He has further held that the civil writ petition was not maintainable when the issues raised therein go beyond the scope of Section 378(2) of the CRPC, and the court is not expected to go in for judicial review of internal notings, correspondence, or files, which are internal decisions of the central government, who has a substantive right to file an appeal. He further observed that the petition seeking leave to appeal was filed by the Special Public Prosecutor, who was duly authorized by the central government to do the same. And the proceedings were being conducted by the learned ASG, who was also fully authorized by the central government to do so. Justice Sethi has rendered all possible assistance that the institution expects from a judge discharging his constitutional obligations. He shall be remembered for his positive support in all court-related activities, as well as for the discipline that he has maintained on and off the bench. Justice Sethi is a trained mediator and a trainer mediator. While working as a judge-in-charge mediation center Tisarari courts, he successfully mediated as many as 3,631 cases with a success rate of 95%. This remarkable achievement shows his special skills. To quote a famous line by Abraham Lincoln, who said that a good settlement is better than a good lawsuit, we can state with pride that in this COVID-19 pandemic situation, virtual mediation in Delhi High Court has created a new platform where the mediators and parties can log in from any part of the city, a state, or country, despite being hundreds of miles away from each other, and negotiate a settlement. Having known and interacted with Justice Sethi, I have found him to be a sincere, hardworking, and humane person, ever smiling, humble, and affable. As a judge of this court, his contribution to the cause of justice will always be remembered and cherished. Justice Sethi is no doubt parting company with us, but only as a sitting judge of this court. He shall remain in our hearts as a member of our family. I'm sure that even after retirement, he would always be eager to lend his helping hand whenever the institution requires his services. On this occasion, I extend my best wishes and congratulate his family members, his wife, Mrs. Rekha Sethi, his daughters, Ms. Divya Sethi and Ms. Diksha Sethi, who is also a judicial officer of the Delhi Judicial Services. I, on my behalf and on behalf of all my colleagues, wish him good health and good luck in all his future pursuits. Thank you.
Thank you, Ladyship. May I now request Mr. Chetan Sharma, Learned Additional Solicitor General of India, to speak on the occasion, please. Mr. Sharma, please.
My Lord Justice Kohli, my Lords of the Honorable Delhi High Court, and to use a phrase used in law, to all my lords jointly and severally, to the President Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Mohit Mathur, to the Secretary Abhijat, all the members of the association, Mr. Himal Akhtar from the Bar Council, Mr. Rahul Mehra, Standing Counsel, Criminal, Government of Delhi, and all virtually attending guests, former judges, and colleagues. It is indeed a watershed day for a judge when he assumes office, and it is also a watershed day when he demits office. Emotional as it is, one must look forward and move on. But sir, we shall always remember you, as Justice Kohli so aptly put it, for your affability and for your ready humility, which was not a put on but was very natural and continues to be with you. That you were born in Delhi and chose to migrate or travel to Kanpur, if I may say so, because these days distances have shrinked, but in the days when you were there, probably it was a case of migration. So having done your education from there at St. Xavier's, you again came back to Delhi to practice, to assume office, which you, sir, did. And just to complete the sequence of a very distinguished career insofar as judicial dispensation of justice is concerned, Justice Sethi was District and Session Judge, Dwarka Courts from 8/12/16 to 30/11/18, and dealt with all types of cases, including the routine suits for recoveries of money, partition injunction, but also has dealt with some very sensitive matters on the criminal side. Justice Sethi then became Principal Judge, Headquarters, Family Courts, Dwarka, from 22/7/16 to 8/12/16. And apart from his duties, he dealt with some very important Hindu Marriage Act, Divorce Act, and Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act. I may add here that whenever matrimonial jurisdictions came before Justice Sethi, he, despite not being a mediator then, saw to it that the parties did not go the full length of adjudication, but in most of the cases, he amicably asked the parties and prevailed upon them to resolve the disputes, which they did in so many cases before him. As the District and Session Judge, His Lordship Courts, from 31/5/16, just a brief period of 21/7/16, he awaited notifications as an appointment to the Principal Judge of the Family Courts. Then he assumed a different connotation, being the Principal Secretary, Department of Law, Justice and Legislative Affairs, the Government of Delhi, from 24/9/15 to 31/5/16, and rendered many an opinion on the appeals against acquittal, law reforms, advice on legal matters, issuing statutory notifications, supervision of government litigation, drafting, vetting of bills, and statutory notifications relating to legislative assembly business, and advice on legislative business as well. As District and Session Judge, Southeast Saket Courts, New Delhi, from 28th of April 2015 to 24th of September 2016, as well as the District and Session Judge of the same court, which is Saket Courts, Justice Sethi dealt with important matters of bail, including dacoity and some very sensitive sessions trials involving grave offenses. As Principal Judge, West Family Courts, His Lordship, he again came into his own, dealing with matrimonial aspects, and again imploring and prevailing upon parties to end their embitterment and patch up and move on in life. As the Registrar, Arbitration, Delhi International Arbitration Center, Delhi High Court, New Delhi, from 25/10/13 to 5/2/14, he coordinated being in charge thereof and looked after the day-to-day functioning of the center. That was in the initial period when our arbitration center was coming into its own. As Special Judge, CBI, His Lordship, he decided cases under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, which were then thick and fast. Member Secretary, Delhi State Legal Services Authority, Patiala House. He assumed his duties from 1/11/12 to 1/6/13, discharged his duties as the Judge in Charge Mediation Center, and as Justice Kohli, pointed out pontificatedly 3,740 cases, which is a record by itself, with a strike rate, if I may use that expression, of 95% success. This is also in addition to whatever he did, and did so very substantially when he dealt with jurisdictions of matrimonial disputes. As the additional session judge, Tisazari courts from 1/11/2008 to 8/2/2010, as presiding officer of the MACT, as additional district and session judge, and all that he held, Justice Sethi was a non-controversial, was an affable person, and a judge who acquitted himself well and in true decorum, both inside the court and outside the court. While he demits office today on behalf of the Central Government Standing Councils, on behalf of the senior panel of the central government, on behalf of the entire pleaders, and there are quite a many of them on the panel, and on my personal behalf, I can virtually wish, and that virtual is a pun, which is intended both for its sincerity and for the technology through which it is being wished. I wish Justice Sethi all the very best, sir, and please be and continue to be in touch with this High Court, which I, in my subjective opinion, call the best High Court in the country. We are distinguished to all be here for serving this institution, which is a privilege in itself. Sir, all the very best, good luck, and congratulations to you and to your family. Thank you, sir. Thank you, my lord.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. May I now request Mr. Rahul Mehra, Learned Standing Counsel, Criminal, Government of NCT of Delhi, to please speak on the occasion.
Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli, leading today's full court reference. Honorable the companion judges of this honorable court. Honorable Mr. Justice BRIJESH Sethi, Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Standing Counsel Civil, Mr. Ramesh Singh, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Himal Akhtar, President, Vice President, and Secretary of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Mohit Mathur, Mr. Jatin Singh, and Mr. Abhijat, Executive Members of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, family members of Honorable Mr. Justice Brijesh Sethi, especially his wife, Mrs. Rekha Sethi ji, and daughters Divya and Diksha Sethi ji, and other family members and friends present here today. Respected senior and junior members of the bar, friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. We have gathered here to bid farewell to a remarkable human being and one of the most admired judge, Honorable Mr. Justice Brijesh Sethi, who has rendered distinguished service to this honorable court for a little over 1.5 years and to our great institution for about 34 years. With the retirement of Justice Sethi, both the bench and the bar of this honorable court will be losing one of its highly revered, supremely polite, immensely respected, incredibly judicious, extremely caring, ever smiling, hugely popular, and a deeply loved judge of all times. When the most non-judgmental human being at peace with the world and himself becomes a judge, you get a court like that of Justice Brijesh Sethi. A calm, peaceful, humble, efficient, and predictable court where the rule of law is enforced without fear of favor, ego or retribution, politics or emotion. His warm smile could not be shaken by the loudest lawyer or the rudest litigant. Justice Sethi is a man of the law, but a judge of equity. He always saw injustice where others saw technical hurdles and tried to bring the warring sides to his vantage point of justice before disposing of the matter. Justice Sethi joined Delhi Judicial Service in 1986 and worked in almost all capacities and offices available. He was also a member of the DSLSA and Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Law, Justice and Legislative Affairs, Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi. Such is his genuine warmth, love, and humility that there's never been an occasion when Justice Sethi hasn't asked me about my father's well-being and has consistently maintained that he has learnt a lot from his advocacy while he was in the Patiala House courts, sheerly out of humility. I too have been extremely fortunate to have closely known Justice Sethi, a gentleman par excellence, first as Principal Secretary Law, GNCTD, and thereafter as judge on the criminal side for most part of his tenure here. Justice Sethi is a remarkable person who leaves deep impact on the heart and soul of every person who comes in his contact. Not surprisingly, as a trained mediator, as well as a trainer, Justice Sethi successfully mediated over 3,500 cases with an unbelievable success rate of 895%. Every lawyer that appeared before Justice Sethi would agree that when you appeared in Justice Sethi's court or went to meet him in his chambers, the way he listened to you, you felt that you were the only person in the world that mattered and that your troubles were far from you. With the pain taken care of, the legal injustices or disagreements became much easier to resolve. On the criminal side, Justice Sethi was well versed with the law and procedure and was not just a civil libertarian at heart, with no eagerness to detain people in jail for no reason, but he was as much at ease at rejecting such relief where he felt the law required it. On one occasion, one of my colleagues informed me that a quashing petition that had come before Justice Sethi, where a young man in his 20s entered the airport on a cancelled air ticket to drop his girlfriend, who was going abroad to study, but got detained on his way out. He explained humbly before the court that it was his immaturity to impress his girlfriend that led him to make such a big mistake. Despite vehement opposition by the state that this was a risk or attack on the security of the state and the airport, Justice Sethi smiled, as he usually does, and said, "We are young only once, and we can be forgiven." This made such an impression on my colleague, who realized quickly that we can make or break another person's life, and so we must always judge others as we would want to be judged ourselves, or we would want our loved ones to be judged with fairness and compassion. Justice is not the statute. Justice is not in the statute, but how it is interpreted. Justice Sethi, who appeared to be an old school man, showed his remarkable adaptability during COVID-19 pandemic to adjust to the virtual court system. Neither his speed nor his good humor were affected. He even accepted the CBI plea to hear the voluminous 2G case early. And today, in cricketing terms, Justice Sethi has hit a last ball 6 out of the ground while delivering a landmark judgment as a part of the full court comprising of Hon'ble Mr. Justice J.R. Midha and Justice Rajneesh Bhatnagar along with him. As a result of which, the investigating agency from now on will have to file a victim impact report, a VIR, in all criminal cases in order to help the victims to get timely justice through adequate compensation under Section 357 CRPC. This will go a very long way in the theory of victimology. Today, when this finest gentleman, a phenomenal person and a people's judge, is putting his pen down as the judge of this honorable court, we are at a time in our history as human beings when we need healing more than anything else. Our idea of safety and well-being, our world, and what we took for granted is shaken in different ways every day. Even our access to justice has transformed overnight. It is at such times that we are forced to recognize the fragility of our universe and the institutions we took for granted. It is at such times that we understand the value of dispute resolution in non-confrontationalist and non-formal ways. And I have no doubt in my mind that Justice Brijesh Sethi, who is the most evolved human being and an unflappable judge, will lead the way and be much in demand in his new avatar. With an expression of love and gratitude, which flows from each one of us present here, I, on my behalf and on behalf of the government of NCT of Delhi and my other colleagues, take this opportunity to thank your Lordship for your exemplary service to this Honorable Court and our entire institution and wish Your Lordship the very best in all your future endeavors. Sir, you will be remembered for all times to come for your humility, for your simplicity, for the inimitable smile that you have, and the friendly behavior and your nature, which with all members of the bar, and I'm certain with the bench as well. May you continue to shine like a bright star. At the end, I would like to share a poem by Jonah Few, which I'm certain captures the essence of how we all feel today on the retirement of a compassionate, upright, and modest judge like Justice Sethi. Now that you are retiring, we can tell you how we feel. Our heartfelt admiration is deeply felt and real. You have been a great role model for judges and lawyers in how you did it. You showed us how to be in everything that you did. We will miss your fine example. We will miss the things you gave. Our pleasant memories of you, we will recall and carefully save. We wish for your retirement the best of all your days. May you discover sweet fulfillment in new and rewarding ways. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mehra. May I now request Mr. Himal Akhtar, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Delhi, to please speak on the occasion. Mr. Akhtar,
Honorable
please.
Justice, Honorable Justice Ms. Hema Kohli, companion judges of the Honorable High Court, Honorable Justice BRIJESH SEThi, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Senior Advocate, Learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Mohit Mathur, Senior Advocate, President, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Mr. Abhijat, Honorary Secretary, High Court Bar Association, Mr. Rahul Mehra, Standing Counsel Criminal, Government of NCT, Mr. Ramesh Singh, Standing Counsel, Mr. Ajinder Sagwan, Secretary of the Bar Council of Delhi, Office Bearers, and Member of the Bar Council of Delhi, Senior Advocates, Member of Bar Association, Family of Mr. Justice BRIJESH SEThi, ladies and gentlemen, greeting and good day. We have joined today to bid audio to Mr. Justice BRIJESH SEThi. His Lordship was born in Delhi and completed his initial schooling from St. Xavier. Thereafter, graduating from his Christ Church College, Kanpur. He then completed his LLB from the University of Delhi Law Faculty. His Lordship entered the Delhi Judicial Service in 1986 and in 2000 was promoted to the Higher Judicial Services. His Lordship has presided over various cases with a different dimension and in various spheres of the law. His experience in dispute adjudication is wide and enriching. During his long tenure in the office, His Lordship has held various offices, including Member Secretary Delhi State Legal Service Authority. His Lordship being a trained mediator and has successfully mediated over 3,600 plus cases as judge in charge mediation. His Lordship was also presided over the Labour Court, Motor Accident Claim Tribunal, apart from service as Additional District and Session Judge, Special Judge CBI, District and Session Judge, South and Southeast District, and Principal Judge, Family Court, District Court, District Judge, Southwest District. His Lordship got appointed as a permanent judge of High Court of Delhi in 2019. He has been patient while hearing the argument presented before him, always smiling face, friendly, painstaking, while hearing it, deciding the issues before him in a fair and judicious manner. His grace and calm endear him to all of us at bar. The bar will definitely His Lordship. In a very short span of time that my Lord Justice Sethi had in this court, His Lordship dealt with almost all stream of law, and what we saw was His Lordship's immense capacity to do justice, not merely by following the president, but by the setting the president. His Lordship never found himself lost merely because there was no precedence on a particular point which required him to take a view. He carved out his own path and rendered a large number of landmark judgments. I would like to quote a paragraph from V. Sudish Pai, Legend in Law. Justice and rule of law are perhaps two of the noblest concepts evolved by a bit of man. Justice, according to the Daniel Webster is the greatest interest of a man on earth. It is ligament which holds civilized being and civilized nation together. I consider it a great privilege to be entrusted with me with the daunting task of the speaking about the immense contribution made by Justice BRIJESH SEThi in the myriad role he has played on the bench as a judicial career devoted to the dispensation of the justice comes to an end, but you will be remembered as a dear, sincere friend, a strong leader with a smiling face. You shall occupy a unique place in our mind and heart. There is an important issue which I want to highlight. I have to congratulate the Honorable Chief Justice and judges of the Honorable Court is dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. Your Lordship have been hearing matters on regular manner that despite these difficult times, your efforts in providing access to the justice are unprecedented in these times. All of us agree that the same is work in progress and more steps need to be taken to make the same normal. As such, it can be. I would also end by conveying regards on behalf of Mr. Ramesh Gupta, our Chairman Bar Council of Delhi, and apologize as he is not available today to address the e-farewell reference because of his prior commitment. I wish His Lordship a very happy, healthy life ahead. May your prosper future. There is one share which is the fit for Mr. Justice Sethi. खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Himal Akhtar. May I now request Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, to please speak on the occasion.
Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli ma'am, other honorable judges of the High Court of Delhi, Honorable Justice Brijesh Sethi ji, Additional Solicitor General for India, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Mr. Jatan Singh, Mr. Abhijat, Vice President and Honorary Secretary of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, other members of the Executive Committee of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Rahul Mehra and Mr. Ramesh Singh, Standing Counsels, Government of NCT of Delhi, Judicial Officers of the District Courts attending the virtual meeting, Mr. Himal Akhtar, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Delhi, and other distinguished members of the Bar Council of Delhi, Office Bearers of District Bar Associations, my fellow senior counsels and members of the Bar, friends and family of Justice Sethi, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. As the winter chill sets in, we are all once again gathered on our screens to give a warm and hearty goodbye to yet another gem of the bench, Justice Brijesh Sethi. Having joined us in the High Court only last summer, my Lord is parting ways with us too soon. Though superannuating after having served as a judicial officer for over 3 decades, his disarming smile and kind demeanor will be missed by us all. At the very outset, I must say, Justice Sethi was one of the most resolution-oriented judges I have seen in my time, and he will be remembered for his dedication to tangible justice for the people of this great city. Though 2020 has put a damper on most proceedings by forcing us to just log in and log out, but let us still take this moment to cherish and celebrate Justice Sethi's career and life. Justice Sethi, born a Delhi wala, did his schooling and graduation from Kanpur and returned to Delhi only to do his LLB and then later on appointed to the Delhi Judicial Services and thereafter to this Honorable Court. I had my first chance to appear before Justice Sethi somewhere in the late 1990s when he was posted as a CBI judge at the Patiala House Courts. I was on that day required to obtain a copy of an order which he had passed a few days back, but the file had not returned to the Elmad's room. So I was asked to approach the bench with an application for certified copy, or if I was to obtain it otherwise, contact the reader sitting next to him to get the file sent back to inspect or otherwise get the copy. Hesitatingly, I went up to the reader and was trying to draw his attention by trying to whisper to him. But since Sethi Saab was watching the entire court occurrences, he asked me why I was standing and waiting near the dais. I did not anticipate the query and undiplomatically blurted out that I am not able to get the copy of an order passed because the file is still with you. As I immediately understood that I should not have said it, I peevishly retraced my steps. He smiled, understanding that I was new to these procedures, and it was not a proper certified copy that I was trying to get. He told his staff, "Arey bhai, de do file piche, vakil saab ko wait kyun kara rahe ho?" And I immediately thought about my blunder and then thought, "Sahi judge hai bhai, yahan pesh hone mein koi dikkat nahi hogi." Thereafter, I have been appearing before him several times, and it was never a tense moment appearing before him. In fact, in one of the cases where he had framed charges and we had challenged the same before the Honorable High Court, he would often ask me what happened to the case, as he once observed that deep inside I had always known the man was not guilty, but I was bound by the material placed by the prosecution. Such was his empathy for people, including the accused, appearing before him. As we all came to learn, Justice Sethi is a highly accomplished and dedicated mediator and a trainer as well, and has successfully mediated thousands of cases with a whopping success rate. Justice Sethi was appointed as a permanent judge of this Honorable Court on 27th May 2019, when, while congratulating him and welcoming him to the bench, I said, "Your wait was only perhaps for the new executive led by me to take over." In the past 1.5 years, I had the privilege of appearing before Justice Sethi on numerous occasions and thoroughly enjoyed arguing before him. Justice Sethi has an inimitable ability to achieve the true halfway point between two adversaries. He was able to find the balance in most complex cases and ensured that parties stuck in dragging litigation had a chance to go home with the satisfaction of their glasses at least half full. We were fortunate to have Justice Sethi preside over the criminal roster, where one would find him attempting happy settlements in cases of commercial nature or matrimonial matters, and to his credit, he never got upset or felt offended by either party, where despite his attempts, settlements could not be reached for some reasons, and then went on to decide those cases fairly on their own merits. In Rahul Mehra's terminology, after hitting the six today, he scored the last run of his innings by delivering a judgment in a habeas corpus matter, which I had argued, and Rahul himself was a party to it. I have interacted with Justice Sethi on social occasions as well, and found him a simple, God-fearing, and highly spiritual person, deeply rooted and full of humility. He had no airs about his status or position and maintained a very unassuming nature. He has imbibed the same values in his daughters Divya and Diksha, and one of whom, that is Diksha, is a judicial officer in Delhi Judicial Services and is expected to carry the legacy of Justice Sethi. It is indeed a travesty that we are bidding you farewell, sir, via video, and it is most unfortunate that we cannot assemble in our cafeteria or the courtroom number 1 as the tradition dictates. That being said, sir, I, on my behalf and on behalf of the entire executive committee and the members of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, congratulate you on your accomplishments and express our heartfelt gratitude for your years of service. We insist that you keep visiting us whenever, my lords, you find an opportunity. I also take this moment to wish you, on behalf of all of us here, a very happy birthday in advance, my lords, and pray that you may be blessed with good health and laughter. On behalf of all the members of the Delhi High Court Bar, to see you very soon, we may give you the goodbye you truly deserve. See you soon, sir, my lords. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohit Mathur. May I now humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Brijesh Sethi ji to please say a few words on this occasion and to share experience of his wonderful and glorious journey so far. Justice Sethi, please.
Thank you so much, Manoj Jain ji. Honorable Ma'am Justice Hima Kohli, J1, High Court of Delhi, my esteemed brother and sister judges, Mr. Chetan Sharma, learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Rahul Mehra, learned Standing Counsel Criminal, Government of NCT of Delhi, Mr. Himal Akhtar, Vice Chairman, Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Mr. Abhijat, Honorary Secretary, Executive Leaders of Delhi High Court Bar Association, Presidents and Honorary Secretaries of District Court Bar Associations, learned senior advocates, learned members of the bar, learned Registrar General, learned district and sessions judges, learned judges of the district courts, all my relatives and friends, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for giving me this warm farewell and kind words spoken about me by the learned speakers. Before I start, I would first like to thank the Almighty, the great Lord, to whom we all owe our existence. And because of His grace only, I was elevated as a judge of High Court of Delhi. Pursuance of career of law was never in my thinking or even in my dream till my school days. In the school, I was a science student and aspired to be a doctor. But unfortunately, now I think fortunately, I failed in the pre-medical examination. And destiny took me on another path to serve as a judge and dispense justice, which also no doubt is a noble and a divine function. After my failure in medical entrance examination, there were only two options left for me, either to go for BCom or BA. Since science had betrayed me, I thought over the matter with the little knowledge I had at my command at that time. And after a very deep thinking, came to the conclusion that it is better to go for BCom since it commanded more respect than BA. Thus, after my failure in the subject I liked and I loved most, I entered into the arena of accountancy. I found it to be very dull, boring, and monotonous. And I thought that perhaps BCom will also result into a miserable failure. However, then came a subject which was known as commercial law, which included Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act, Partnership Act, and Companies Act. The moment I studied this subject, I felt as if a cool breeze has freshened me. I felt that I am breathing in a fresh air as these subjects were full of life, vibrant and vivacious. I thank commercial law, which not only brought me good marks in my BCom, but also paved the way for me to choose law as a full-time course. Since I had obtained good marks in BCom, my father and well-wishers advised me to go for CA, as law was thought to be the last resort at that time. However, since I had not only liked but had fallen in love with commercial law, that is why I went for law and completed the said course in 82 from University of Delhi. After completion of law, I was again standing on crossroad, thinking what to do. Since there was no one in my family who had done LLB and could have guided me at that time, and since there was no option, I started practicing under Mr. Jagdeep Kishore, who was my first guru in this field, and I am really thankful to him. After practicing for some time, I realized that this is not meant for me because the clients generally prefer gray hair. And I had very thick and black hair on my head at that time. And I hardly looked like a lawyer, but more like a student. Then I was again forced to think. And one day when I was just wondering and thinking about what to do in future and passing through police station Parliament Street, at that time a car stopped there and someone got down from the car and all the police officials saluted him, which was a very big thing for me at that time. When the gentleman had gone inside the police station, I inquired from the staff that who that person was. They said that he is a magistrate. That laid down the foundation of my future, and I thought to appear for DGS examination, as it seemed to be a service which is very well respected and you serve the people as well. By Lord's grace, I cleared Delhi Judicial Service examination in my first attempt and joined the service on 4th November 1986. During my tenure of more than 34 years as a judge, I learned something at a very early stage of my career, and that was the fact that Bar is my teacher and my guru. The learned counsels prepared the briefs, working very hard throughout the night, and if I hear them patiently, I need not labor hard while writing the judgment. My journey to the High Court was quite circuitous. I joined at Patiala House Courts, then was transferred to various courts, and it took me 33 years to reach High Court, which is otherwise hardly at a distance of 1 kilometer from Patiala House Courts. Though the route to reach High Court was circuitous, but the journey no doubt was enjoyable, as learned members of the bar gave me a lot of respect and love, and I confess I got much more than what I deserve. My only advice to young judicial officers is to be very patient and to work without ego, and thereby avoiding unnecessary medical problems. I would also advise the young lawyers to work hard and with full dedication so that they do not break the trust imposed upon them by their clients as well as seniors. At this point, I would like to quote famous couplet of Allama Iqbal. मिटा दे अपनी हस्ती को गर कुछ मर्तबा चाहिए, मिटा दे अपनी हस्ती को गर कुछ मर्तबा चाहिए, कि दाना खाक में मिलकर गुले गुलजार होता है. There is another very famous couplet of Allama Iqbal, which applies both to young judicial officers as well as young lawyers. But Mr. Himal Akhtar has already stolen that couplet from me. It says, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या. My elevation to the bench didn't come on a silver platter. It was not a cakewalk at all. I had to wait for a long time and kept praying so that some savior appears and lifts me up. The God didn't disappoint me and sent his savior in the form of the then Honorable the Chief Justice Mr. Rajendra Menon, as well as the then collegium members at that time. It further confirmed my faith in the saying that sincere prayers are always heard and answered, though there may be some delay in their fulfillment. A week before my retirement as District and Sessions Judge, the then Honorable the Chief Justice Mr. Rajendra Menon, Honorable Mr. Justice Ravindra Bhatt, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, the then members of the Collegium and now Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, recommended my name for elevation, and I will always remain thankful and grateful to them for this concern, and I am fortunate to have their love and support till date. I am thankful to other honorable judges of this court, Honorable Ma'am Justice Hima Kohli for her sisterly concern, Honorable Mr. Justice G.S. Sistani for his brotherly concern, Honorable Mr. Justice Siddharth Mridul for his friendly concern, Honorable Mr. Justice Kailash Gambhir for his loving concern, and the great role they have played in my elevation and still continue to extend their heartening support. I thank them all. I am also thankful to the then Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Mr. Ranjan Gogoi, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, S.C. Bobde, Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramanna, Honorable Mr. Justice A.K. Sikri, Honorable Mr. Justice S.K. Gaul, and Honorable Mr. Justice M.B. Lokur for their constant support in my elevation and even thereafter, and of course it continues till date. I joined as a judge of High Court of Delhi after 6 months of my retirement, which was in fact a miracle. It happened because of the support of the honorable judges as well as members of the bar, who not only supported me, but always spoke for me, and I am eternally thankful to each and every one of them. When I joined High Court of Delhi, I sat in DB along with the then Honorable the Chief Justice, Mr. Rajendra Menon, a man of great intelligence, a very cooperative and supportive judge. Thereafter, I joined another wonderful judge, Honorable Mr. Justice Siddharth Midhul, a man of many qualities. His feeling of love and warmness in the relations keeps you warm without woolen clothes, even in winter also. I am really thankful to him. Thereafter, I was in single bench for some time and then was again posted in division bench with another wonderful judge, Honorable Mr. Justice J.R. Mida, and found him to be very religious, rather spiritual, supportive, humble, helpful, compassionate, and totally dedicated to his work. And today, I had the good fortune to share the bench with Honorable Ma'am Justice Hima Kohli, and found her to be very sharp, intelligent, and quick in disposal of the cases. I am also thankful to Honorable the Chief Justice Mr. D.N. Patel, who carries an aura which spells calmness and brings smiles on the face of all the judges. The Honorable Chief Justice is highly supportive, not only to his colleagues, but is also benevolent and gracious towards everyone, including the staff. I am also thankful to my wife Rekha Sethi for standing like a rock in the midst of tumultuous sea of adverse worldly affairs, and always tolerated a judge who was always busy in writing judgments at home. My elder daughter Divya Sethi is a professor, a highly intellectual person, and has presented her research at various reputed international conferences. She has also written 8 books and is going to complete her doctorate next year. I wish her all the success in life. My younger daughter Diksha Sethi has followed my footsteps and is presently working as a metropolitan magistrate at Dwarka courts, and with the blessings of the honorable judges and learned members of the bar, and by the grace of Almighty, will rise to greater heights by virtue of hard work and dedication to duty. I am thankful to both my daughters. In fact, it is because of them I could hold the virtual court so smoothly and flawlessly. Otherwise, the whole work would have come to an halt, and I would have gone to learn fundamentals of computer from a computer expert. I am also thankful to all my relatives who are close to my heart and have always stood by me and supported me and wished me well from the bottom of their heart. I am thankful to Mr. Amit Parihar, Ashok Kumar, and Ms. Rosie, senior PAs, who are with me for the last so many years and are truly dedicated to their duty and worked day and night and typed the judgment and given it to me next morning. I express my gratitude to them as well. I am also thankful to my PS, Mr. Pradeep Sharma, who has taken great care of each and every requirement of my personal as well as official work, so that I could perform my duty efficiently. He is totally devoted and dedicated to his job and works without bothering about the fact whether it is day or night. I also thank Ms. Pooja Suryavanshi, my court master, Mr. Krishan Murari, assistant court master, Ms. Savita PA, and Mr. Vikram Restorer attached to me for their devotion and dedication towards work, as well as staff of the district courts who have worked with me for about 33 years. I am also thankful to Mr. Devinder and JP Bhardwaj, my PSOs, Sandeep Lakra, chauffeur, Ajit Singh, my usher, Mohan Singh, Mahesh, Shahid, Dhaneshwar, Sunil and Vijender, my court attendants for their devotion and dedication towards work. I am also thankful to the Registrar General, Mr. Manoj Jain, who is like my younger brother, neighbor, and a friend, as well as Registrar Vigilance, Ms. Aditi Chaudhary, for their cooperation and worthy assistance. I am also thankful to the Registrar, Mr. G.R. Karobar, Mr. A.K. Kaushal, Mr. P.K. Uppal, Mr. Sunil Kukreja, Mr. O.P. Narang, Anju Chabda Khurana, Joint Registrar Mr. Naresh Garg, Mr. Pramod Kumar, Deputy Registrar Medical Mr. D.R. Chaudhary, and Mr. J.K. Batra, PPS, to Honorable the Chief Justice for their cooperation and helpful attitude. I am always also thankful to my LR Sunidhi and Harinyam for helping me in my legal research work. I am also thankful to Mr. Akshay LR of Honorable Mr. Justice J.R. Mida, who also helped me a lot in the research work. I also wish them all the success in life. In the end, I am also thankful to the honorable judges of the district courts who have also given me a lot of love and affection and stood by me all the time. And I also thank present district and session judges who are like my younger brothers and sisters. And I hope to see them in the future as judges of High Court of Delhi as well. I will say that Delhi High Court is a great institution. It is ahead in every field, but it should not be satisfied with what it has achieved. It is said in an Urdu couplet, again by Allama Iqbal, सितारों के आगे जहां और भी हैं, सितारों के आगे जहां और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तहां और भी हैं, तू शाहीन है परवाज़ काम है तेरा, तेरे सामने आसमां और भी हैं. In the end, I will say that my tenure in the High Court, though was very short, but was sweet. And I'm thankful to all my brother and sister judges who have made this journey smooth and beautiful. I am very proud of the work which High Court of Delhi and District Judiciary has done and continues to do so. It has been an honor and my privilege to work with the honorable judges and learned members of the bar to strengthen this great institution. I hereby request the Honorable Chief Justice and other honorable judges of this court that whenever my services are required in any matter, I will like to render my services pro bono, as that will not only give me a satisfaction that I am returning something which the judiciary has given me, but will also lessen the burden of honorable judges of this court who hardly have any time to spare for other administrative works, being very busy in their judicial. No doubt I will miss all the honorable judges of this court, their love and affection, as well as their care and concern, laughter in the lunchroom, and the bond of oneness which binds us together. Since I haven't yet achieved that state where I can say what the famous actor Devanand expressed in the celebrated song, that गम और खुशी में फर्क महसूस ना हो जहां, गम और खुशी में फर्क महसूस ना हो जहां, मैं दिल को उस मुकाम पर लाता चला गया. At present, we are passing through difficult time because of COVID, and we can only pray to Almighty to get rid of this deadly disease. But I do not know why the prayers are not being answered. An Urdu couplet perhaps explains the same. आखिर दुआ करें भी तो किस मुद्दे के साथ, आखिर दुआ करें भी तो किस मुद्दे के साथ, कैसे ज़मीं की बात कहें आसमां से हम, कैसे ज़मीं की बात कहें आसमां. But I am sure that the great Lord will hear our sincere prayers and answer the same. There is a famous couplet, छुपे छुपाए ना छुपे कस्तूरी की बास, छुपे छुपाए ना छुपे कस्तूरी की बास, भजन करे पाटा प्रकट होए आकाश. In the end, I will say that He will definitely hear our sincere prayer and will certainly shower His grace on everyone. It is said, आवाज़े खलक नकारे खुदा. Voice of the people is heard and answered by the Lord by His command. Now I end my speech by the Urdu couplet. अब अपना अख्तियार है चाहे जहां चले, अब अपना अख्तियार है चाहे जहां चले, रहबर से अपनी राह जुदा कर चुके हैं हम, रहबर से अपनी राह जुदा कर चुके हैं हम. Thank you so much. जय हिंद. नमस्कार.
May I now have the permission of Honorable Ms. Justice Hima Kohli ji to close the reference proceedings.
Yes, please.
The proceedings are closed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to